real name is far less threatening.
This is not how you take care of paper.
To my channel, my name is Steph, and today I'm in Sydney. It's a little gloomy outside, so I thought it might be really fun to take you along while I visit a bunch of the indie bookstores here, and they all have like a unique, quirky personality. So I'm really excited to check those out. I will do like a little mini haul and show you what I got. I'm gonna try and hit 3 stores today. This is also my birthday weekend, so we're gonna be going to see Neil Gaiman at the Sydney Opera House. I don't think I'm allowed to bring any cameras, but I will sort of check in with you a little bit about it and prepare yourself for a lot of food and books, of course. In the parkade, so we just finished at Elisabeth's Books. Really cute place. They definitely have less fantasy stuff, but it seems like a really cool place to maybe get interesting non-fiction pieces and out of print stuff. Cool, sort of quirky and historical books there. Okay, based on the new questionable lighting situation, you can probably tell that I am no longer in the car. It is evening and my battery died. As I was saying, Elisabeth's Books was a very nice shop, really cute. I did end up getting something. I decided to try one of those date with a book. I'm always really nervous about these because, like, what if I don't like it? I'm very curious. Actually, like, I was torn between 2 books. One sounded like a mystery thriller, and then this one is an African fantasy with Edinburgh, unsettling, raw, brutal. All of those adjectives work for me. The coma part is throwing me off. I've never read any African fantasy except for, I can't remember right now. It has a really cool cover. I don't know, I'm excited to try something new. But right next door to Elisabeth's Books, there was actually another bookstore called, now I keep getting the name wrong, Better Read Than Dead. I want to call it Read or Die. The real name is far less threatening. So this one is really cute. I loved all of the turquoise shelves, and they were all new books and had a really kind of sparse fantasy section. I didn't see any horror section at all. Really sparse thriller section. It was very much focused on literary and like special editions. I think there was like 4 different Penguin special editions, but they had some really nice special editions, so probably I would go there if I wanted some. And then after that we went to Gertrude and Alice, which again I didn't do a ton of filming in because, as you probably saw, it was super tight. I felt very self-conscious and I just filmed on my phone, but that one was so cozy because on their website they say that they're trying to make a place for coffee lovers, book lovers, and writers and thespians. I think it's just kind of an example of the dream that like everybody has probably had at some point in their life, where they just want to have a bookstore. It's also a cafe and is also just this little hub for creative people and artists. It was such a nice place to hang out. I really loved it. I'll definitely go back, and I almost wish that I lived in Sydney so I could hang out. Tea was also really good. It was really fun, and it seemed like it was a mix between used and new. I'm trying really hard not to buy books excessively. They did have a copy of Rouge by Mona Awad that I really want, but I already have it in and audio, and I'm telling myself I'm not allowed to buy it unless it's a hardcover. But I know that that's a book that I'm going to be reading repeatedly over and over again, so at some point I will get it. It just wasn't the right time today. So tomorrow I'm going to go to 2 other bookstores. One is Sappho Books and Cafe, and then the other one is called the Ampersand Cafe. So those are actually the 2 that I'm looking forward to the most on this trip. Okay, so we were just at the Ampersand. There's obviously a lot of like creative people who were enjoying the environment, but I feel like there's a bit of a fine line between having a coffee shop where the books are just decoration and and like or where the books are actually being sold versus Gertrude and Alice, you know, it's obviously has a high turnover of books, whereas the Ampersand, a lot of the books were not very well cared for. They were very sun bleached, they were old, like there's not much turnover obviously. And when I went into the basement, it had a really damp, musty smell, which maybe added to the environment for some people, but wasn't quite good for the books. This could just be my degree in museum studies. It's like, this is not how you take care of paper. So, I mean, as an environment and a place to hang out, really cool place. I really liked the aesthetic. I would go there to do work, but maybe not to buy books. All that being said, I did end up buying a book from there. They had a much better fantasy and like crime section, but I do actually want to buy books, not just like. So I think we're gonna switch it up a bit. I really was wanting to go and hit Sappho's Books, which is a cafe and bar, but I feel like they might be using books as decorations a little bit there to like have a certain vibe, and I want to buy books. So we are back on home base. Dymocks was amazing. I was calling it Dymocks, and then the woman asked me if I wanted a subscription to Dymocks, and I was a little embarrassed. But it's obviously a very similar thing to Barnes & Noble or Kohl's. It just has like a little bit of a different flavor. I guess an Australian flavor. And I got one book, but I'm gonna talk about them in order. So I had a big dump. I unwrapped this already. I've already recorded this. Didn't record it with volume somehow. It was devastating. I unwrapped it and then I was like, it doesn't have volume, delete. So I don't even have the film of me unwrapping it, which is really sad because I was so surprised at what I got at Elisabeth's bookstore. The Marabou Stork Nightmares by Irvine Welsh. So that is the book. I have never heard of this in my life. It says that Roy Strange is engaged in a strange quest in a surrealist South Africa. His mission is to eradicate an evil predator scavenger bird, the Marabou stork, before it drives away the peace-loving flamingo from the picturesque Lake Torto. But behind this world lies another, the world of Roy's bizarre family, his Scottish housing scheme in which he grew up, his mundane job, a disastrous immigration to Africa, his youthful life of brutality with a gang of soccer casuals. As one world crashes into another, this potentially charming story of ornithological goodwill mutates into a filthy tale of violence, abuse, and redemption. And it's apparently extremely funny and clever. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little... By African fantasy, I think I had kind of hoped or expected it to be an author of African descent writing like an African fantasy, because I know that those are becoming more popular and I'm like really anticipating that. So I don't know completely how I feel about this book. I don't know anything about the author. I'm both very intrigued by it. It sounds bizarre to me, and I'm definitely curious and willing to give it a shot. I will give it a shot. But I do love how the spine looks. I think that is really appealing and really beautiful. Then we went to the Ampersand and I got the Mysterious Affair at Styles. This is the very first in the Poirot Agatha Christie histories, and this is a series that I have been wanting to get into, and I've kind of made it one of my like micro goals that I would like to read some of these this year. So I'm looking forward to giving this a shot. It's been really hard to find it at my library as well, which is kind of bizarre for a classic and a book series that is just so popular. But it was like $9. It's in really good condition. So Mysterious Affair at Styles. And then at Dymocks. I bought a book and I bought a tote. And I don't usually buy totes because I feel like they're one of those things that just shows up in my house and I don't necessarily like them, but I don't have to spend money on them, so I just typically don't get them. But I've always wanted a bookstore tote, and I decided today was the day, or yesterday was the day, that I got this one from Dymocks. So that is the bookstore. It has black handles. The best part is that it actually has a zip on top, because I'm always paranoid about people reaching into my bag or my bag spilling out, which does happen quite often, and I can fit a nice amount of stuff in there, so I feel like it was a good purchase. And then the book that I got at Dymocks is Looking Glass Sound by Gertrude Alice. This has been on my radar for a little while. I've heard kind of mixed reviews about it, but ever since reading A Study in Drowning, I've been really wanting to read something that's a little creepy, a little scary, and set on a coast. And this one is in a cottage overlooking the sea. Wilder Harlow begins the last book that he will ever write. So I think there's some like flashbacks of childhood companions and stuff. I don't really know. I don't want to know a whole lot before I jump into it. So this cover just convinced me to get it. I really think it's just stunning. And as I look at it, I actually realized that it has the same color scheme as A Study in Drowning, so maybe that's why it appealed to me. But I have read The Sundial by Gertrude Alice, and I really enjoyed that one, so I am pretty excited about giving this one a shot. So those are the books that I got. Last night we also went to see Neil Gaiman at the Sydney Opera House. This event was absolutely so much fun. The Sydney Opera House was stunning. It was so beautiful. I didn't really expect it to be that nice and stuff, but it really was a beautiful building. Then Neil Gaiman read essays, short stories, poems. A lot of them were unpublished as well, which was quite nice, so quite novel. And then a string quartet called Fourplay that he apparently has had like a longer term relationship with was actually playing kind of as the backdrop, like a dramatic backdrop to some of the reading. And I actually did not fully appreciate the full range of Neil Gaiman as an artist, because he sang a song about vampires and Psycho by, what's that guy's name? And of course he has the most incredible voice, and obviously that translated over to his singing voice as well, but it was a wonderful time, and I really just admire him so much as a creative person in general, and quite envious of his creative career, I suppose. But I think that is pretty much all I have to share for the video. I hope that you enjoyed it despite my very sad technical difficulties with the unwrapping. But if you've ever been in Sydney and you've had the opportunity to explore some of their bookshops, let me know if you have any suggestions or what your thoughts were. If you have made it to this point in the video, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye!